So right now I'm going to go over something that the advanced students saw me doing in class. I was putting two different colored clays together. So this piece right now, I'm going to throw this clay here that has two different distinctive colors of clay. It has the Rodsblad, which is a gray clay, and then it has the Amador, which is an orange to brown clay. And so I've marbled them together, and now I'm going to throw them, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like when you facet or take a piece off the wall to bring back the decoration. At first it's going to look really muddy. So just like normal, I'm just going to throw a basic vase. So I'm going to center like normal. I also do a lot of marbling of pieces for bowls, where I just glaze the rim and the interior, and then the decorative surface on the outside are the two different clays. So you'll notice that the two clays will start melting together and will look like just a different mixture of the two, as just like a mud. But we'll see what happens when we're done. Okay, so there is centered. I also throw a lot of twisted T-bowls this way with this technique. So every time you see me clean it, you'll see the lines come back. Okay, so as you're doing this at home, you'll notice that it looks really muddy, and then you clean up the edge, and then you'll see what's going on with the decoration. So opening like normal. Then, like I've been doing with my vases, I'll pull the upper section before I go to the bottom and do a full pull. So I do a half pull first. And recenter the top and let up gently each time. Second pull. Now I'm taking more of the weight. But for faceting and taking a section of clay off the side, I'm going to leave this a little bit thicker than I normally would. And I'm also going to start defining the top with my finger. I just use my thumb pushing in to define the rim. So, working on the next pull. To there. There is a little bit of an air pocket. I'll go ahead and fix the twist in a second. Remember, when your pieces twist or move around, use a wooden rib or the metal rib and you can fix it. Sometimes it gets too thin. That's okay. You got it fixed. Now doing my basic shaping. And I'm deciding where I'm going to facet as I shape. So I want to leave the part I facet a little bit thicker as I keep playing with the shape of this piece. There's lots of ways to make your rim distinctive. So I'm going to go ahead and stretch out the top of the rim. And I've done a lot of rolled over rims. So if you've watched the donut video, this is similar, but in a smaller scale, where I'm going to do the rim into a hollow form or roll it over. So from here, also you use the metal rib real quick to clean up the muddiness. And again, you can see as soon as I clean it up, I'll go ahead and stop it. You can see the pattern that's being developed of the two different clays. So I'm going to stretch the top rim out, and then I'm going to take the metal rib and split it. So if you look, I've cut that line right here. And what I'm going to do is that line has released the tension of the outside surface so I can roll the rim over. So I'm going to take my fingers and my thumb and just push down while my outside hand is supporting the rim and roll this rim over. You can seal it off just like the donut or the toroid, or you can leave it open like I'm doing, and it's just part of the decoration. I'll go ahead and clean this up one more time. And the reason I rolled that rim is I'm going to carefully take this metal rib and roll it over and take the muddiness off, the slip off the surface. And I'm not going to run the sponge on there again. I'm leaving that harsh line. Well, I might run it off a little bit if there's any burrs. Usually I clean up the burrs later because I don't want to re-muddy the surface. And you can see again the distinct pattern of the two different clays that are on the rim. Okay. Now for faceting, I'm going to take what's called a wiggle wire, and it's been bent and curled so it looks like a curly piece of hair. And I'm going to carefully cut into the side of this pot and follow the curve so I don't end up with a hollow space, hopefully. This time I did end up with a hollow space because I need to work a little bit thicker next time. But actually for the demo it's okay because I wanted you to see when you facet you can see the marbling or the pattern that happens by cutting. So what we can do is go with the hole, and I've torn a lot of pots over the years and made hollow spaces, so I'll probably turn this into a lantern since that ended up being a little thinner than I expected. And I'll facet another spot. Yep. And make another hole there. And since we might as well work tripodally, that way we'll turn this into a lantern later. The other thing you can do with these cutouts is save them and put them on to your slabs, and they can be part of a decoration. So let me go ahead and actually last year I showed some pieces with holes torn out of them, and I made faces around the holes. So I might still do that on this piece later. Last step is cutting off the excess clay. So in other words, there's always a use for things if what are called happy accidents. You can always find a solution in the arts for any issues that you run into as you're throwing or sculpting. Just that's the nature of what the piece wants to be at this point. Okay. Final cleanup. Just like that. This piece you can see the marbling, and then the cutout is really important because it shows you how distinctive it is. So when you do this, start practicing throwing a little bit thicker and then work your way toward thinner as you go, and you'll figure it out through practice.